I totally agree, but even so, these games are getting really, really spicy, and I feel like the Indonesian flair is definitely so evident in the moves that are being made here in Solara, right? It's so expressive to the point where you really understand what these players are feeling in those moments. It feels like we have to make this move. We got to do this now. If not, we can't let these teams run away with these points.
Now, speaking of points, we have the match rankings on the screen right now. Something interesting to note, though, right, is majority of the teams that got the top end of the leaderboard were a lot of our teams struggling towards the bottom of the bracket, right? Leading up to this, Dragons, Fluxo, as well as Team Vitality, they're not really anywhere to be seen towards the top. So much needed points for them. They're slowly catching up. It's just, can they survive a little bit longer and deny our qualified teams?
Definitely. I mean, denial is not just a river in Egypt. It's something that they need to really bring in and extend the match even more. Again, we still have 4 potential match, and another one might break up. And if I'm not mistaken, the map itself was shown earlier, and Team Vitality might be taking advantage of this once again.
I think this is where it gets really scary, right? Because now once you finish with the fixed format of the 6 maps, we start going into the randomizers. And so far, as you heard it from the in-game comms, Team Vitality, we are the kings of Solara. It's so evident that they know something that all the other teams seem to be lacking here in this new map.
Well, maybe they can be able to get another Booyah, but I thought that Avos will be able to do it right now in this match. So, unfortunately, you can blame Pain Gaming for it. So, it was such a sad history, but I think they can, research for the next match, and they also are playing really good. So, I don't know. I think I need to stop talking about them because maybe I can give to them like bad luck, because as you guys can see, my team it's not really doing that good.
Have you seen my power rankings? I mean, Core Memory have not gotten like any points. I'm the best.
Oh yeah. Okay, so right now I think you were in the worst. You were having a worst experience. I love how this woman's so blunt. Okay, so interesting proposition, right? Coming into this next map, the odds of Vitality getting the Booyah, it's pretty dang high, meaning there's an opportunity for other teams to unlock the win condition. This is kind of a bad thing for EVOS and AGAL because they kind of want to win now, right? You don't want to allow the other teams to have the win condition because the more opportunities you give, the more opportunities to lose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's similar to what we've seen in Southeast Asia. There was one team which
meaning there's an opportunity for other teams to live the more
who got it first, but unfortunately they didn't get the Booyah afterwards. Denied overall. Actually not surviving longer compared to what we've seen EVOS esports is doing right now. So I guess there's one thing that EVOS really needs to be careful. If there's a specific rotation that they have, all they have to do is just keep distance. But it's difficult as well because when we saw it, 10 teams still alive, still in and is gathering towards Casa Vista, it's making it difficult for them to survive longer as well.
I also think that the quality of these fights are getting very, very messy. There's a lot of mismechanics, a lot of like awkward glue wall positionings that we've seen.
When we saw it,
I also think that the quality of those, there's only one line of sight, so therefore how could we? Because Falcon's clearly going out of their way, knowing that they initially initiated upon them, and Pain Gaming taking full advantage after.
Absolutely. Now we do have the overall rankings, just in case you guys missed it previously, but at the moment we have 2 teams that have met the win condition, EVOS Esports and AGAL. Now RRQ, they're getting close, they're not quite there yet though, they're going to have another good round, but the question is, can they have that good round in this next matchup, because they did okay, but I don't think it's quite enough for them to just say, hey, next round we will 100% will get the points and unlock the win condition.
And one thing I want to see as well, other than Lost, who is also very close, but Dragon Esports, they are just playing it not only with placement point. I know they're just like trying to their best to survive, revive their teammates, but they're doing a decent amount of elimination, total of 21 elimination overall. So I guess they did it from the knockout stage up until the point rush, just to go to the basics of survivability, and this is where they're putting in a little bit of mix of elimination in the play.
I think a lot of representatives have to be, fans have to be proud of this team, because this is a huge turnaround from what happened last year. Coming into this year, now they're looking like a true competitor. Maybe not the creme de la creme, but they're getting very, very close, right? Give this team another year, and we might be seeing, a huge shift in power levels amongst the regions, and maybe even a new legacy.
A new legacy, a new story for all of us to enjoy as well, because it's really fun to see new teams, new players, new names develop an esports scene. Like, as fun as it is seeing all the old faces, we love them, we know them, but everyone loves an underdog story. Everyone loves new talent, and especially the stories of our very young, talented players. I kind of feel like they sort of bring that special spice, that special glitter, that sparkle to the scene, and you really learn to admire new people as they come into the scene, because they also introduce new ideas to the game, right? We're not seeing the same kind of Free Fire we did 1, 2, 3 years ago. It's evolving every year, not just with the patches, but also with the players.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the movement alone, what you're seeing back then, it was just all aggression.
Yes.
All of them just chasing each other, but now we're seeing a mix of tactics from a distance. And introduction of snipers like Moshi being one of the MVPs in most instances, and then there goes Limit X7, and now we have Rasia, and even Do. Not forget Do. So all those snipers has just brought in a different flavor in the tactics, and even those aggressive teams are slowing down.
I think we also have to look at the esports scene as a whole, right? Most people are going to consider a generation to be a part of 10 years, but in esports, it's actually half, if not 4 years worth of time. We've seen the generation of Du being at the peak of his game, to Wasana taking over, and now Russia coming into place. We can see very clear stakeholders and very clear cornerstones of the generation being born here in Free Fire.
All right, so as we have all of our teams and players getting ready for their next matchup, we're going to do a quick temperature check in the main stage with
Clear MVPs in most instances.
Things are heating up here in Kidia Esports Arena as we are slowly approaching to see who will be crowned champions for Free Fire at EWC 25.
It's getting intense because the Falcons, despite everything, they're still yelling, they're still reeling, and they know that it's not over till it's over. Let's hear it out.
Okay, as of right now, we have 2 teams on Champion Rush. It is EVOS as well as AGAL. For EVOS team, make some noise! And a very good booyah as well for Vitality.
Yeah, Vitality are rising up and looking good, but Falcons not looking happy about that. So they are looking to rally one more time.
The Falcons still have hope to defend their title, but anything can happen in Free Fire because this block right here might go back to Falcon, might be not. So let's see how will it go for the next match right here, right now.
Thank you very much to Tash and Admats. Here we go again, another round, match 7 coming up. And from one team who unlocked Champion Rush, now we add another onto the list. First it was EVOS, now it's AGAL. Both of them, very contrasting story. One almost won the trophy last year, one forgotten by most of the world. But now they too share the same podium. Unfortunately, only one can remain on top.
2 booyahs for AGAL, 1 for EVOS. But both are at the brink of victory here. Regardless of the number of eliminations they bring into this next game, if either one grabs a booyah, they will make history, they will become the champions of Free Fire at EWC 25. And after coming in twice at the club championships, I think it'll mean a lot to AGAL.
Not just that, right? Like we saw the League of Legends division. They came in second against Gen G earlier on. It's a 3-2 result. But I guess you could say the same for EVOS. The pressure is on now. They have no more safety net.
It doesn't look like they're under pressure though.
I mean, I hope they're not, right? I hope that that is the case. I hope that they still know that they are in control.
Oh, yeah.
Only AGAL that's the contender for now, but they have used up the extra life, right? There's no more one up.
And this is the hardest part of this champion rush condition.
Yep.
To close out the competition, getting to the top obviously is difficult. It wasn't easy for these two teams, but it's just about to get even harder. We saw how EVOS was just trying to avoid all of the attention, avoid all of the action. But at the end, action still came hunting for them. Falcon swooped on it. Pain Gaming came searching for them right after. A streak of bad luck in that Nextera map. And obviously, in the Solara map, sorry. And obviously, we are looking at a situation where that could just happen again. The one way to prevent this from happening, of course, is if they become the apex predator out there. But the question is, do they want to take such a risk?
It's either that or this might be a crazy idea. Comes up to Russia. And I'm not talking about him popping up again. We know he pops off.
Yeah.
But what if he is the one that keeps the team's emotion under control? Because the other three, they've been here before. They know how this feels. They know how high the stakes are, and they're tasting defeat last year. But for Russia, it's his first time. Maybe that's the key. Maybe this kid is more than just an in-game predator. Maybe outside of the game, the fact that it's his first time, he gets to tell the rest of his team that they got this in the bag.
And if they don't, he will bring it into the bag through those points, man. One of the sharpest snipers on the battlefield. And that's not just by assumption. He has proved it time and time again. We've got deadly snipers like Limit, MT7, Moshi out there playing with him, and he's just making quick work of the competition. None of the other snipers have been able to outshine this kid just yet. And this is just the start of his pro journey, right? Becoming a pro player was just the first part of the equation. And how many of them can say that on their debut, they went on to the world stage and they were highlighted as the MVP time and time again. And potentially to even say the first time at the world stage at the age of 16, they walked away with the trophy. They walked away as the champion of the Esports World Cup.
No one has ever done that yet.
Never.
For it to be from a team that's always come second and never first, it's unbelievable. But if you look at the other end of the aisle, you have AGAL, especially Dew.
Yeah.
Who else out there is the same as Dew? You're MVP for grand finals, but you were never a champion. He's uncrowned, and at the same time, he is crowned. And he has struggled so much.
Oh, yeah.
He's taken breaks. He's came back strong. But I think some of the memories from many years back then, 2022 Bangkok, FMWS, that still haunts some of the dedicated Dune supporters. Nigma Galaxy, that was a nightmare. I think it took a long time to really get to really let it process. Then EXP Esports, and then now AGAL, and yet Dew is the only one who stayed throughout all of that and has been through the worst. Now he gets another shot.
And it has been highlighted time and time again from their own fans that Dew needs better backup. But out of nowhere, when you least expect it, on the world stage, the team has finally stepped up and the team is carrying him up to the top. Dew now just needs to put a smile on his face and go back to playing out there on the battlefield as if this means nothing. Because when there was no pressure on his shoulder, my goodness me, he was a deadly sniper out there and he's still looking for gold. We have a highlight here of Buriram United Esports as well. They're not looking very happy at this point.
It's very rare that you see Buriram down in bottom 6. Fluxo also, both are two-time world champions, and I think that is one of the most shocking things coming into the grand final. I mean, we know that Fluxo is going to struggle, sure, but BRU, with a game 1 Booyah, 24 points, we thought that is the start of a race.
I mean, I did not expect Fluxo to be the champion here at the Esports World Cup, for sure, because we saw so much of quality from the other teams. We saw Loss on a phenomenal streak. But never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that Fluxo would be at the bottom of the leaderboard. This is unreal. Something needs to change here. And I think this is just Lady Luck playing her role, extending these matches, bringing us back to Bermuda once again to give Fluxo a opportunity to become the monster that they are once again. To go out there, not just looking for points but dominating. But you know, one team with the smiles, that's Dragons Esports, man. They sure as hell deserve to smile. On the world stage, on their debut, it's such a phenomenal performance. I am a fan of the Saudi Arabian squad.
I think there's no better way to put that into expression. Adeje, do you believe in second chances?
Amen, of course.
Because we got Solara for the next match. And again,
Wait,
I've highlighted this so many. You cannot write a better script than what we already have, but it keeps getting better and better. EVOS on the cuffs of a world championship. Never got on the Bouya on Solara. Didn't get it last round, but match 7 brings us back to where they were.
Wait,
A second chance.
So we don't bring out the randomizer all throughout the competition. And right when we needed us to go back to Bermuda, the randomizer shows up. And Solara comes back in here to make this as random as it can be. Vitality is the only team that has scored a double booyah here at Solara. And they are not the team that has activated the champion rush condition. In fact, they're quite close to it, but just not there just yet.
Talk about having a second chance in life.
my
Match
God.
point teams, EVOS, Esports, and AGAL. Even when you look at club championships, EVOS has not at least had a 1,000-point record. They've come close, 750. That's as close as it got.
Yeah.
They don't really have too many teams participating in EWC. This is one of the most valuable ones, one of the most precious ones. They've invested so much, like this 3-year investment on Rasia, 1 year away from paying off. Right off the bat, Circle goes north.
Yeah, GG, bro. So the exact same rotations that we saw out of EVOS earlier on will not be the case this time round. The circle straight up telling us, yes, it's the same map, but it's just going to be a totally different compound by the time we get to the final circle. A high probability of us getting pulled towards the Riders Club as well as Funfair. And this is just not looking fun if you are a fan of AGAL or EVOS Esports at this point of time, because in order to get even into the next zone, they have to battle the Brazilians.
This is potentially a prelude to the final test, right? The final obstacle. They say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. The finishing line is the hardest to cross when you are the closest to it. And who knows, you might get an AGAL against EVOS final circle. That will be the most triumphant and the most heartbreaking moment at the same time. There are good odds that could happen. Considering where they drop, right? One on Studio, one at Aquarium. Then it converts from the southern side, but on different parts of the map.
And you know, Lady Luck was smiling at AGAL because they could have just faced the exact same situation as EVOS, being held back by just 1 point to activate their champion rush, which would have been insane. But of course, thankfully, we've got 2 teams now on activation. Point blank on 80, AGAL sits with the activation of the champion rush condition. But in this next game, if these 2 teams fail, then there's a high potential that 2 more Indonesian teams jump into this champion rush condition as well. We're talking about RRQ and Vitality. How insane is that for the Indonesian region?
To have 3 out of 4 teams in the grand finals and all of them having a chance to win, never happened before.
And the 4th team is the champion of Southeast Asia. So
We don't talk about that. Right?
this is the best year for Indonesia in the
man.
world of Free Fire.
Absolutely. I think, and the craziest thing is, both RQ and Vitality can activate the condition off of this game.
Yeah.
And the bar is not high. 12 for RQ, 13 for Vitality, very achievable. If you look at Vitality's record, it's even more achievable, just based off of track record.
And I have to say, we can thank the devs for this insane situation that we have in front of us right now because of how balanced the game is. Tatsuya has just been running rampant all around these battlefields for way too long. And now with the way we've got the balancing of these active skills, Oscar being viable, Cassie being so important, even Steffi still being dragged back in after being left out of the meta for a while because of the kind of protection she provides from all of those frag grenades. I mean, at this point of the time, when you call yourselves champions, you can sure as hell be proud to call yourselves champions.
Talk about having some risk being taken too. We saw EVOS rotate deep into Archway, complete opposite of what they did in the previous round where
Yeah.
they took it slow. This time they take the fight straight into the middle. Falcons and BRU obviously having a bit of an interaction with Falcons losing out on one member. EVOS taking a bigger risk than they did in the previous round. So far, so good. The one that they were trying to hunt down was from core memory. But AGL have the same idea. They are already at the north of TV Tower.
Oh, this is an aggressive version, and EVOS, Dinoculus scanning out the dragons, looking to end the run of the Saudi Arabian team early here.
Actually, they got R7. They saw dragons through Aim God, but they
Yeah.
scanned out R7.
Then
But
who scanned out dragons?
I'm not sure if they scanned out Vitality though. That is the odd one out. That is the X factor.
Well, either way, many of these Dinoculus popping off everywhere, but nobody's making the first move. Yes, EVOS could be aggressive, but they're just choosing the peaceful path at this point of time. And because the circle, the very first circle, was pulled so high up north, teams are pretty much confident the following circles will be approaching the northern side of this map as well. You can see everybody going in here for a mad rush to look for these defensive spots, but thankfully Solara has quite a number of those.
It's safe to say that AGAL has the same approach as EVOS, right? Early rotation deep. Last round they played it slow, but this round they played it fast. Double Dinoculus used. They take the grind rail into a safe spot as Falcons continues to just trade fire with BRQ. Nothing much out of that. This could get very messy, AJ. You look at the radar, look at where.
Bro, look at how poetic is this, right? 9th, 10th, and 12th, 11th. You've got the two-time world champs,
The two-time world champ.
Buriram and Falcons, flanking the reigning champions of the Esports World Cup here at Free Fire. Down at the bottom of the leaderboard.
I mean, what scares me the most was how close EVOS and our AGL are to each other, separated by Dragon Esports, which is something that we are going to see in just a little bit. AGL, another huge rotation. You see it on the map.
Oh,
R7 receiving fire. RRQ now springs into action.
Not looking good for R7 at all. RRQ making quick work of them.
Wow.
M5, 90 supremacy, player after player shut down. And R7 bright as the North Star at Point Rush. But here, when it truly matters at the grand finals, they don't seem to be able to cut it, especially up against RRQ, who are desperate for these points to activate Champion Rush for themselves as well.
Looks like it has burned out, at least for this round. They can still hope that AGAL and EVOS don't close it out, but the odds are starting to really tip AGAL. It seems like they've made some interaction with Vitality. The circle read was perfect by both EVOS and AGAL, sure, but I think EVOS wants more benefits from this as BRU looks to clean house against Falcons on fire. Left to pick up the pieces. He has to dig deep, but BRU dumped a deeper, and Falcons are no more.
Well, we just highlighted how close they are to each other on the leaderboard, but Buriram saying, you stay here, baby. We are climbing up a tad bit higher. Sacrificing the Falcons. Sure, they're going to barbecue them out there a little bit as well as they climb up. Stadium's going to be a tad bit quieter. You guys are going to hear Husky and I a little bit more here as the Falcon fans have not simmered down just yet because of what this competition holds. A potential 10 rounds. So it ain't over till it's over. But my goodness me, Falcon's still quite far away from activating Champion Rush, and they have to get through so many teams before that is done. Unless, of course, EVOS or AGAL finishes it right here, right now in Solara.
Unless you tell me that no one wins this round, at least not EVOS or AGL, and Falcons these might then 40 bomb record. And
That would be insane.
we would have a conversation about that, right? That would be a story to talk about. Maybe we get that rematch in last year's finals, in the final circle. But for now, looking at the radar, and I'm liking the odds of EVOS a bit more because for AJL, they got loss coming for him from behind.
That 40-point miracle game for Falcons to open up EWC. That was one that nobody saw coming, and it was just absolutely epic. They went on to wrap up the competition as the champions of Free Fire at EWC 24. But clearly, coming in here for a repeat at the Esports World Cup is not as easy as just wishing for it. The heat in Saudi Arabia is just a different kind here in the summer, and the heat that Indonesia is bringing to the competition is just unreal at this point.
And I guess you're thinking too, the teams that have a chance to walk away, second place of Free Fire World Series Global in Rio, RRQ.
Yeah.
Second place of EWC 24 in Riyadh, EVOS. AGAL, of course, in the conversation.
Hey,
Don't count them out.
Vitality is in there as well, man. They're the
Vitality too.
kings of this map.
They are. I think that's the craziest thing. We got two teams that have tasted second place on the global stage.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the stakes were different. One is the official circuit title, and one is the EWC title. But no matter how you look at it, Indonesia has always come close but not gotten it.
And what's painful about this is Vitality getting the booyah here will mean nothing because they activate Champion Rush for themselves. But the next map, are they the conquerors of that map? That's a huge question. AGAL looking for core memory. The battle between the two Thai teams. Only one can stand, and AGAL cannot afford to fall here. Lost chipping in as well. The Thai squad in a lot of trouble.
This is what I'm worried about. AGAL, they took the same risk as EVOS, and now they might have to end up meeting against Lord General. That's just found Barros. There's a body on the floor. Chinoy next on the dark end. The hopes are starting to be extinguished for AGAL. They got two more left, and both set running, but into the hands of RRQ. They see this happening, but I will make it number 3 and do. Not like this. Not ending it here. He doesn't want it to be the case, but AGAL once more got struck down when they were so close.
EVOS right now screaming, Viva la Brazil! All hail loss for that phenomenal support. And unfortunately, AGAL off of the jump pad straight into the hands of RRQ, who are so much closer to activating the Champion Rush condition as well. But of course, RRQ will smile with the takedown of AGAL, but they've got another prey that they are hunting for, their brothers EVOS on the battlefield.
If EVOS can survive this, I think we might just be looking at our champions right now.
You got Fluxo right behind them.
And Fluxo just made a rotation. That was EVOS' scan, 100%. Oh, wow, they have dodged a bullet.
Memory on the revive. Don't tell me they are going to do the absolute insane work.
I think EVOS just don't move.
Pain Gaming, don't tell me. 2 game in a row. They wrecked the chances of EVOS.
Maybe not this one. EVOS is in a way powerful position. As much as we praise Pain Gaming, this one is so much harder. Out in the blue, on the low ground. I don't know how they're going to get past it. They sure as heck know that EVOS is there. Maybe Fluxo can come in and play spoilers because they are rotating those EVOS. But I think Fluxo is making the choice to get into the circle first.
Either way, Pain Gaming is cutting down the distance.
Here comes Fluxo.
Avoiding damage from the blue. Fluxo spotting out EVOS on the approach. 2 Brazilian teams squeezing out. EVOS, the team that has activated this Champion Rush condition. Rasia, the deadly sniper, down courtesy of Chiu. My goodness me. We are going to get a game number 8 here by the looks of things.
A very good chance. With the Wonder Kid down, it's down to the veterans, the old guards, to keep the fort standing. But it ends up being Fluxo against Pain. EVOS managing to disengage. Pain Gaming now will have to fight this on. Fluxo is not going to back down, and EVOS once more breathes a sigh of relief. Bomb Ray launches, takes out Motovia. Bomb finds Peter. Fluxo coming to life. And Vitality now joins in. EVOS somehow scrapes by. They have the blue to contend with, but being able to survive longer is better than being dead. Ray takes a grenade in the face and he gets knocked down by invisibility. Invon now exposed. Maybe this is not it for EVOS.
Nah, man, Fluxo's just playing this on another level. They've woken up, they've heard the chants, and they have heard the insults, and they're not about to give up just yet. Coach Hill hanging on for his dear life, but he needs a booyah as a single player at this point of time. More than the booyah, he needs a vending machine.
And the closest vending machine is just way too far. It is south of Waterfall. No way Coach Yu gets there. Fluxo knows where he is. We go another round for sure. RRQ, BRU, Vitality on top of one another. But we at least will have one team that gets to the champion rush condition as Coach Yu gets wiped out. We are guaranteed match number 8. It's not dead just yet. But let's see who joins the list. RQ has already joined the list for sure. But if Vitality closes it out, we get 4 teams on the list.
3 out of those 4 teams are from Indonesia. In this grand final, there are only 3 Indonesian teams. What a year once again for Indonesia. Fluxo flying on in, jump pad straight to the roof, and Steffi do the same. No grenades, don't touch them just yet. Those glue walls blocking out all of those shots. Buriram cannot grenade on them just yet.
Dragon Esports once more makes it to top 6, and now they're going to be under fire by Fluxo and RRQ. It's not an easy rotation. Vitality wants a piece of the pie, and they get out of him. Dragon Esports picked apart left, right, and center. But as this continues, Vitality makes their presence known. RRQ on the lower ground, BRU watching the perimeter. Red Tyrant on top of the roof. Fluxo now next on the crosshairs as Lost takes him out.
I wanted to say not every day is Sunday for Dragons, but today is Sunday, and Remind is still alive and kicking. A great survival play coming through from the players out of Saudi Arabia. Remind sneaking on in, Malawene with the M. This is just the way you use those grenades. Dragons Esports out of the race and Lost looking for the booyah.
Not just Lost, but Vitality.
I mean, Lost doesn't need a lot of points
Lost
at
has
all.
a point too. I mean, we completely, sideline the story of some of these players. SU-GG.
Yeah.
4th place last year.
Underdogs last year.
They
came
were.
in with a lot of promise, but when the grand final started, they became the underdogs once again. But if Fluxo cannot deliver, if Pain cannot deliver, we will deliver. The Lost Boys once again ain't lost anymore. Looking for the booyah. And for the time being, all of the action has managed to avoid them.
Vitality makes the first move. Red Tyrant takes out the blue wall. Gale needs to be able to get to safety, and they sure do. That puts them to the edge of the perimeter. BRU makes the first move into the circle. They don't want the power of this, but they run into MC7 and Lost as well. The Brazilians not letting BRU rest. The grenades barely bounced by the members of Vitality. RRQ now making the initiative, but if RRQ doesn't survive this, Vitality has a good shot of being a champion rush mode. And RRQ, they don't want Vitality to be in a position of power. They make sure that Vitality stays down for another round.
Oh, brilliant play by RRQ, but now it's up against Lost. The Brazilians who desperately need massive points off of this game. They need 21 points to activate Champion Rush. Those grenades looking for them, but thankfully just glue wall melters. Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses of the Bay, but had it truck right in front of them to block off those shots. Monster Truck playing its role as defense as well, as the Bay makes it up to the top of the rock. Now this boulder serving as defense, M590 in hand, and Lost says we don't want to deal with this. They back away from the fight.
It's not going to be easy. Haone finding a name on Wow, and that is going to be green light for Lost to push on forward to get them close to that champion rush condition, but Haone gets knocked down. Lost losing Rippy in the process. They need some time to recover. Deuce gets knocked down. It's down to just Kiba. He was the representative from all back but Lost shuts down the show. And another round we go.
An unbelievable performance from Lost. They needed 21 points, and the Brazilians said 21, we'll give you 24. Welcome to the champion rush condition, activated by your Brazilians. The most promising squad out of Brazil, delivering it on the big stage once again.
Started point rush and ended in an abysmal spot. Started grand finals and counted out after round number 2. But here they are, just like last year. they have a shot at winning it all. They join AGAL and EVOS. As RRQ also joins that list and they've gotten enough points. 4 teams now make up the teams that have chance to lift the trophy. And this went from real to really, really real. We head for a short break, and when we come back, 4 teams have a chance to lift the trophy. Let's see if we will get number 5.
Quadra kill. Triple.
The race continues here at Free Fire EWC at 25. We are still not yet ready to crown a champion. 4 teams are becoming eligible as they secure those points, hit the 80-point threshold, and set themselves up with the win condition to be our EWC 25 champion. Welcome back to the panel, folks. We have a lot to break down. And in particular, I want to point this over to Gideon because we had a really in-depth discussion watching that matchup, and it was because of a lot of engagements towards that mid game. Break it down for us. What was kind of the cascading effect that sort of set us up for that end game?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, it started with the northern side ring to kind of kick things off at the beginning of the match, right? All southern side teams, Fluxo, we've seen Pain, as well as EVOS Divine, really getting a little frustrated. It's a long way up there. That's totally fine and as expected. But once they found those spots, I think Lost really got a lot of momentum when it came down to, hey, we're going to start this engagement against CRM, Core Memory. But what Core Memory does, having initial information about the area and knowing that AGAL was actually nearby, they launch pad themselves past AGAL, causing a very big domino effect, technically shafting the chances of AGAL from winning this map. But Lost eventually snowballed their way all the way to the end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, AGAL, a great hiding spot for them, similar to what we've seen EVO's provide, but EVO's esports. But it's just unfortunate, but because the number of teams surrounding them is just so much, there's no way out compared to the rotation of EVO's esports. Yes, they saw Fluxo as well as a few teams, but even despite of being pinched, they still managed to survive a little bit longer.
And Raja, Loss is waking up. We're starting to get some Brazil firepower in here. And look, just based off of everything that we're seeing, right, it just seems like the games are never ending. It is not a case of this one team, they have all the points, they have all the power, and they should be able to take it into that next game. It's always someone new coming in clutch. And with every game, we're going to get more points. I mean, do you feel confident that Lost might be able to bring it back for Brazil? Well, after their reaction, I feel really comfortable. I mean, I feel comfortable and also confident. So I think they can grab it a trophy maybe because that's the energy that they need, and that's the same energy that I saw when they got the FFWS. I mean our regular tournament in Brazil. So the same energy. So I think they can breathe and try to do the same as they did in this match. match. And something that I want to add, it's I feel that the game is kind of, I don't know, they are trying to play it safe, because if you stop in the middle of the match, you could see like the teams that are in the top of the ranking, they were just inside of the zone, inside of the safe zone. They are in such amazing spots. So I think it's kind of better to play safe in this type of tournament. I don't know what you guys think about it. Do you think it can be good for a team like Fluke, so maybe try to play aggressive right now or not?
I'd love it, personally.
Because Fluxo need to play aggressive. They need eliminations. But, talking about Los, what do you think about it?
I think I agree with you that yes, for teams who are not at the top of the leaderboard, they definitely need to kind of step it up and be aggressive in these moments. However, they need to identify certain odds that they have, right? Because we saw Ping Gaming and as well as Fluxo coming in from the same side, eventually pinching champion point holders in EVOS Divine, ruining their chances, but also ruining their own chances walking in, allowing Lost, who came from the northern side, an easier path into victory.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, teams with a great potential of elimination can go for a placement point because the moment that they meet up with a team, like as easy as that, they can just clear it out. So it's just paving their way towards the final circle and then as well as the Booyah.
I think at that point, that's when you're thinking like, hey, how much motivation do you have? How much heart do you have in this game? Because let me tell you, these teams have been playing extremely hard, day after day, no breaks whatsoever, other than the knockout stage. They've been screaming hard, and most importantly, I think this might be the most amount of games that they played in a singular day.
Okay, panelists, I've just gotten information on what the next map is going to be. It is in my mind, and Gideon, you know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking. I hope you guys are ready for this. Look me in the eye. I want you to envision what is that next map. You know what it is? We're going to Kalahari, baby! And this is probably the setup, the ultimate Cinderella dream for Indonesia, because we have said this time and time again. This is a map that Indonesia loves to play. And look who is at the top of the leaderboard, who has unlocked the condition. If it doesn't happen now, I don't think it ever happens.
It's gonna be a really tough battle here because I know for a fact teams on that second page are not gonna let these Indonesians run away with it just yet. And not to mention that even for Team Vitality being denied by their brothers in RRQ. Had RRQ just said, hey, we're cool, we don't have to do this, we can both achieve the champion point together, they were like, no, we want this championship more than you do, you're going down, brother.
Yeah, I mean, just taking out in there with only 3 points remaining. But again, Kalahari. This is one thing that Indonesia are being proud of, similar to what we've seen Team Vitality in Solara. But I would say that if this is the case, or since this is the case, and there's a lot of pressure, I would say pressure can be lifted by those from Brazil, from LATAM. They can just play it as it is. No need to plan that much. As you mentioned, if you're a coach, just do this and they will be doing it. Just play it to your whims and just give out everything that you have.
Hot drop them. You need to cut the snake's head straight away. We take them out, then there's a really good chance you will be able to gather enough points in the next 2 maps to be able to achieve your own championship point. And then maybe we start thinking about, hey, let's play safe. Let's look to Booyah at the end of the game.
But I can't believe it though. We've made it this far in Champions Rush. The predictions for the casters before the tournament even began, okay, we spoke to the casters and they all unanimously agreed that we would go to around 8 games. They did maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but so far we're getting closer to that prediction. I mean, we're kind of there.
Well, we're seeing how tight it is already for the teams. Once one is taking the lead, another one will be showing up, even from knockout stage, even a point rush. So we've seen a lot of turn of events that happen. And I thought that point rush is just something that, like the other teams, especially core memory, those who top the board in point rush, could take advantage. But no, I mean, those who don't really care about Point Rush, similar to what we've heard. Evos as well as Rasya, they don't care Point Rush. They just can bring it on. So I guess it's a different mix in terms of tactics, especially core memory to finish this off.
Saving strats work. Confirmed. Saving strats definitely worked. I mean, that's the guess, right? We're not hearing this from the players and coaches themselves. Maybe they kind of approach Point Rush differently because, right, it doesn't matter if you win or lose in Point Rush. I think for the lower teams, it definitely does matter because if points are harder for you to get, then obviously the head start makes more sense. But for the top teams that are generally consistent, they know that they can perform and they know roughly how many points they can get per round. Point Rush, maybe it's more for them to scout the opponents, right? You learn how everyone else is playing, find out what their drop totes are, and also maybe even decide to go for some cheeky hot drops and figure out, okay, we hot dropped this team on this map. We actually felt really confident fighting them. Sure, we lost, but I think we can do it again and make that fight really happen on the grand final.
I think the hardest part about it all is the fact that the strats are ever changing, right? I think that from the knockout stage, we saw what everybody was trying to do. Hey, let's just play standard and see what happens. We get a little bit of information. We go over to Point Rush, and even there, we're seeing that teams are deploying completely opposite strategies of what they're used to be known for. And as we see this as we see this champion rush stage slowly progress, we're noticing that we're seeing the sides of players that you don't usually see, right? Desperation is starting to take hold of some of our top teams from both regions, and even then, we are seeing other teams take full advantage, like AG Global.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, probably it's not just the matches, the actual matches in EWC, the scrimming as well. It adds a little bit more factor that they can use to study their opponents. Though, again, it's just scrim, similar to what you mentioned from Point Rush. It might not be the whole cards being shown, but at least you will be able to play through that because that's also a warm-up for you. So we're seeing a lot of differences in terms of game style all throughout the levels in the competition.
I'm actually glad you brought up scrims, Neptune, because, again, we had a lot of talking, Gideon, happening behind the scenes. And I think something we also need to consider is exhaustion, tiredness. We've had a really long day here for Free Fire EWC 25. We have no idea if the teams managed to get scrims before finals as well. So imagine you've played, let's say they played some scrims, roughly 2 or 4 games maybe. Then you come into the grand finals and now you're up to map number 8. That's a lot of Free Fire.
12 matches already, and there's still more to be played, right? There's still potentially up to 14 in total before this all rounds out. So right now, some of these players, they're running on fumes. They're trying to fuel themselves up. Some of them are literally, it's all heart at this point to not just mentally break down at the current position that they're in.
Thus, when we talk about scrims, like, you don't have to really give it all. It's like more of scouting, identifying what can be done, what could have been done, or correcting all the mistakes that you have from the past. So that's one thing as well. Drop spots. If you have failed and would want to change, there's a chance for you to really change that, and probably not really play it out as aggressive as what we've seen right now. Now, I think this is what Dragon Esports was taking advantage of. The scrims, the knowledge they gather, the homework that they've done from yesterday up until today, thus surviving, and they're very close as well.
Right, now we are going to go for a quick update on the STC Club Champion. Now, at the club championships, but are they safe? Technically, no. We're only in week 2, but you still want to grab as many points as possible, and obviously we have points for the Free Fire division as well, so the teams that are playing in Free Fire, they're going to look at this, and they're probably going to have to set their own goals and say, okay, if we grab these points in Free Fire, what other titles do we need to clinch to push ourselves up that club championship?
It's shaking things up here, right? I mean, this could be foreshadowing for all we know. I don't know how many superstitious people in chat there are right now looking at this and be like, it's clear who's going to be on top, right? It's going to be Team Vitality who turns things around.
I mean, they've done, well, probably if they were given another Solara, but I don't think so.
I was going to say, wrong map.
No repeats. No repeats in a random. It'll just go over and, it's just tough. It's just tough right now, but they've struggled but they were able to survive in some other cases. So these teams have done so much of adjustment overall, despite of the teams they're going against, despite of the patches that they have to go through and study every time. And I guess Brazil is one of the region that really struggled when it comes up to all of those updates happening.
Yeah, I think they are kind of, struggling. I mean, so much actually, but we can see still Los playing really well. I think they are fitting inside of the match, and I mean fitting inside of the tournament in general. And maybe in the next match they can do like such a great job and try to get a booyah, and maybe they can be the winners of the tournament. Let's keep our eyes really open.
Let's see if they can grab those points and unlock the win condition first. But I have been updated that we are ready to fly into Kalahari Survivors. Make some noise for your teams. Let them know you're sending them your energy. We're going to throw it over to our casters right now. Husky and AJ, take it away for Kalahari.
Thank you, Danalee, Raja, Neptune, and Gideon. Now we head on into the desert. Not the desert here at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but the deserts of Kalahari, where Indonesia usually reigns supreme. But if you sleep on them, they will make you pay. They will make you regret. We're talking about the Brazilians lost, who have now activated the champion rush condition as well. And they are not too shabby on this map. You're back here with your boys Mustachio and Husky. Game number 8. Do we go the distance today, Husky?
Talk about second chances. This is third chance for some of these teams. Third chance for EVOS for sure.
yeah.
Second for RQ. Second for Lost. Third for AGAL. Let's see the drop spots change. This is where it gets desperate. And especially for EVOS and AGAL, the longer you are at the lead, the longer you stare at that trophy, knowing that one game could send you there, the more nerve-wracking it is. RRQ takes Refinery, EVOS takes Confinement, Vitality, and Council Hall, and it's Falcons in the middle of all of it.
Early hit list purchase by Captain Jonah onto Butchizin from Fluxo. Early purchase of the hit list here, targeting Falcons by Dudes. And very early on, they can either be getting just pure information to avoid the early engagements or potentially going for the hunt. Because looking at Fluxo and Buriram, they have got absolutely nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, and if we know Buriram, their next rotation most of the time will be looking at command posts. Core memory around Santa Catarina. EVOS play a safe spot at Confinement, but Falcons are playing a risky game. RRQ, Ma'al starting it off with first blood onto R7. Again, the eliminations don't really matter as much. You look at your screens, 4 teams are eligible to win it all. EVOS, RRQ, Lost, AGAL. But on this map, Indonesians are always favored.
Absolutely, and 2 of the Indonesian squads already have activated the champion rush condition. One was just literally 3 points away, undone by their brothers RRQ, putting a quick stop to that. And the rotation from Buriram into Santa Catarina does not happen. Instead, it was Calm Memory that overextends from Santa Catarina into Stone Ridge. They very, very quickly hightail it out of there, potentially losing 2 players here to the hands of Buriram.
Good scan from Falcons early on. They just caught wind of EVOS making a rotation. So they know that someone is passing through Confinement towards Santa Catarina. That's where EVOS is heading. Maybe might run into a beaten up Core Memory. Then see we just the name on the list. That is as far as we can be sure about EVOS playing it safe. Both them and AGL have taken risks in the previous game, and they both, ironically, ended up falling in the hands of the Brazilian squad.
Kuga, final player on the side of Core Memory, looking for a vending machine for sure at this point of time. And all thanks to those coin machines, he should be able to bring at least 1 player back in. So we will see more of Core Memory in a little bit. Nothing much to stress about at all. But loss, the Brazilian team do not just outshine Fluxo once but twice now. Yeah, the esports World Cup continue to do so. Well, thanks to the fact that the revivals are there, core memory still hanging on, but all three players on that fantastic revival play. Coins galore for Tour. Back to 47 players we go. And if it wasn't for Buriram, we would actually have 48.
Yeah, if they have a good game, they would beat the fifth team on the list. You know, Vitality 3 points away.
Oh,
Dragon Esports, could you
and they would have one more game to close it out. And Buriram has to close it out on the 10th game if they activate Champion Rush. Sorry, they have to close it out on the 9th game if they activate Champion Rush. Mainly because if you just want to depend on those points, man, EVOS and RRQ, they're quite far away from them.
If you ever go to game 10 and EVOS wins by cumulative points, it will be the sweetest victory.
I don't know.
It will be the most stressful, but it will be sweet. That's how they lost last year, but it seems like that will be put on hold if EVOS wins this one. They've already gotten the initial elimination onto Moshi, and that's already a pillar down.
It's a big if here because Buriram, as deadly as ever, looking for the Champion Rush activation. Jonah, captain, taken down. Wasana with the trade though, but Rasya very quickly puts him down onto the ground. Moshi, final player in the mix. And thankfully, he managed to hightail it out of there. Was that a revival? Either way, put it up hanging on for their dear lives.
It's just not good enough from BRU. But the fans are disappointed. BRU, they get to live on, but for how long? I think that is a question that only the survivor could answer. But if you are EVOS, you just cleared out Stone Ridge. It could not get better than that. And Dragon Esports, they just made contact with Vitality. That is the team that wants to make it to Champion Rush. RRQ, they left Refinery and made it to the southwestern side of Command Post. This is going to be a wild card.
Unbelievable rotations coming on through here. But the circle, the first zone is pretty central. So all the teams are just staying put. They're not going in for any wild rotations just yet because of how unforgiving the move of the circle could be for zone number 2. So this is just a game of wait and see exactly which sort of a direction the next zone is going to take, because it's pretty much 50-50, and as Loss just absorbs these shots, it's very clear they do not want to get into a scuffle just yet.
At the same time, Buriram just made a full recovery. Everyone brought back. Thanks to the initiative of Mochi, Saifa getting down and eliminated. You know, he does fine in exchange of the hacks. Deal with the Joker. This dream needs to live on, and the sure as heck is not going to let R7 take it away.
They've got a vending machine right there beside them, so R7 not too fast at all. Duval Melters laid out. Time Turner pulled out as well for a secondary defensive measure. Chinoy on the instant revival, understanding that R7 will not get cheeky, and the glue wall melters once again laid out. Even if R7 expires here up against them, the team still stays in play thanks to that vending machine.
If they can get Saifa, this would be great. Come on, James King, you gotta hit that shot. You gotta hit that shot. This is not good enough. Saifa survives.
And Games King and squad, all thanks to those revivals, will stay in the game, but ATL now at the brink of outnumbering them. But look at the split jump away, using the jump pad, forcing AGAL back, because going for the hunt could be deadly. And AGAL chooses to play the safe route. Just happy that they could scare away R7 from trying.
We talk about how Futsal plays, and overall, I didn't really like the approach, but every once in a blue moon, they could end up intercepting a crucial team, and in this case, it's probably EVOS. Take the launch pad and hop away to safety, deeper into where they want to go, as RRQ continues to make it further towards the edge perimeter of the safe zone, and EVOS now finds himself smack in the middle of everything.
And the next circle finally shows itself, dragging us straight down towards the southern side of this Kalahari map. The sub
RRQ
command post pretty much in there. And RRQ up against their brothers EVOS, who are leading the fray with the eliminations thus far. Predator or Prey, which one are you, RRQ?
It's gonna be so close. Not to mention that BRU are moving towards EVOS. Vitality just for RRQ. Pain Gaming could be a third party. Fluxo could do the same.
Oh, wow.
John gets knocked down. Lost puts themselves on the map. Remember, this team, the only Brazilian representative that has a chance to win it all. They did strong in Kalahari last year as well. That was what put them in the conversation in the first place.
This is definitely a big map for Loss.
It is.
One where they very rarely falter. They already have one Booyah here, proving that they are definitely one of the predators. Just does not help the cause of Indonesia at all that they have activated this champion rush condition for themselves. Buriram not looking for a round 2 up against EVOS, but they sure as hell will find it if they continue this pathway.
And Fluxo is just lying in wait. Funnily enough, even Fluxo now has reached a point. We've dragged on the finals long enough for Fluxo to have a chance.
Yeah.
Get champion rush. 25 points. A good round is all it takes. It's EVOS, they gather around one single tent. Get high with the grenade in his hands. This could get messy. This could be what sets off a chain reaction. If BRU takes the fight now, Fluxo and RRQ will be activated.
You up top. AGAL with the safe plays this time around. Spreading out all throughout Refinery, but they will have to make a move now because this next circle is surely not going to be in the confines of Refinery unless they get some wild luck of randomness. But based on our calculations, they will have to move quite a long way. That will be.
EVOS about to face the toughest test of their career of this tournament. 5 teams surrounding them.
Wow, look at this, man. Top eliminations, all decked out with the EVOS players.
It's not good enough to win in the finals, and that's the harsh truth. Here comes team number 6. Wow, Falcons. I think if you're EVOS, you stay still, stay low, off the radar. Let the battle unfold. Let your opponents take each other out. EVOS does not want to be involved in a 6-team slugfest.
Be it eliminations or damage, it is just Indonesia shining bright at this point of time. But here comes the team that is about to ruin their experience, their dreams. Loss looking for the shutdown onto the Indonesian squads. But they potentially have to come across the pathway of the reigning Esports World Cup champions Falcons.
Even Dragon has started making a move, and that's going to prompt BRU to start firing. This is getting from bad to worse for a lot of these teams, especially the teams who have a chance to win it all. Again, EVOS, right smack in the middle. Lost needs to go through the dungeon run all the way from Stone Ridge, go to Falcons, go to Dragons, and maybe BRU. EVOS still not making their presence known, at least to most of them. A big binocular scan from Lost. That is going to ping out Fluxo members. 11 teams alive.
If the Brazilians spray on each other. But Fluxo focusing on the players of R7 and Pain Gaming, bumping into AGAL. But the circle is going to be the bigger predator as it forces everybody to scurry on it.
Yes, the Brazilians spray on each other and none of them get the win. It would be a throwback to 2022 in Bangkok.
Ooh.
That was how BRU won.
Yeah, man.
That was how BRU won. Not just
that was literally how BRU won.
just by methods of infighting between the Brazilians and Sigma Galaxy not able to hang on. And you do that callback and you look at you again. He always is in one of those storylines. Roshan getting a knock onto Rigby. Payne now springs into action against AGAL, and they are winning. This AGAL side, they want to keep on going because if Payne takes them out, this could be the final round for AGAL. Doom is sacrificed in the process. The main character is out, and now it's up to the rest of the team to keep it intact.
Can you get it done without your prime sniper? They still do have the backup marksman in Cypher. High ground advantage. And AGL does not need to rotate too far away, but they will have to sacrifice that high ground in a little bit. Falcons
is
on
gone.
the other hand, falters as Lost takes the fight to them and wipes them out instantly.
The only team in the center of the circle is RRQ, and that is one of the teams that can win this. We say that this is Indonesia's map, but RRQ have always ruled Kalahari. EVOS now gets some room to breathe and move. AGAL not done just yet with Payne. Peter on the ground. The Cypher confirms the takedown. Go Sonoda in the 2v3. Motovia supporting them from afar, but R7 now is going to join the conversation. A three-way fight.
AGL, one of the teams that has activated the champion rush condition. In fact, all 4 teams that have activated it is still alive and kicking. The numbers not looking strong on the side of loss. All thanks to vitality of all teams. As R7 scrambles looking for the circle. AGL playing with fire on top of this hill.
EVOS has to start moving as the circle closes in. Pain slowly losing members. R7, they have a good spot to work with. AGL confirms a triple for Chinoy, taking down stragglers from the side of Dragon Esports. As R7 out in a spot, AGL continues to run, but still Pain not done just yet. And AGL, they're gonna run straight in. Lost gets eliminated off screen. Pain Gaming, bodies dropping, barrels getting dropped, but AGL stands strong.
Puriram's out of the race as well. Pain Gaming deleted.
Oh no.
Unbelievable. AGL very low on the chances of walking away with the Booyah, looking at the numbers that they have alive. RRQ almost losing one, but you see the focus on the pickup. The Mets are out. EVOS looking for their brothers. They want to end this right here, right now. Steffi Pop, your grenades can't touch it.
3v4. If EVOS pulls this off, it would be a miracle on top of one, but Fluxo don't want to let it happen. Fluxo, they want a piece of the pie. They can feel that they are close to it. Ray is low, needs some time. Grenade launcher in hand, but doesn't have the space to use it. Aim got absorbing pressure, grabbing attention, but he can't hold on for too long. Vitality now is in the radar, and in fact, Vitality will help up EVOS a little bit, taking down one of the Fluxo members as Venti7 strikes back. EVOS now stuck in the middle with RRQ and Fluxo around him.
GG for you. As Ray returns fire with the M79, grenade launcher fighting him and Fluxo. They don't get to ruin the chances of EVOS just yet. And the next circle goes to the new Indonesian squad.
This is insane, RRQ. They need some time to get their health back up, but EVOS finds time and they have space. Another shot granted. Chinoy taken down from afar. Aim God making sure that he gets the base cover. EVOS smells it once more. They believe in second and third chances, and now they have it.
This is a big one for EVOS. They need to put Vitality down and out. They are the only team that can prevent the championship from going to either EVOS or RRQ. They've got the numbers. Cypher trying to play spoilers on the side of AGAL. But who does he stop?
Oh no.
Probably no one. 3 Indonesian teams. We call this the Indonesian map. And these 3 squads proving it.
And RRQ now receives heat. Vitality from behind. RRQ in the rough spot. EVOS helps them out. Rasha continues to deliver, taking down members by members of Vitality. But the next point of contact is going to be RRQ. EVOS. Oh, they could just let this happen.
Vitality, they're going in here for the sweep. RRQ in a unfortunate predicament.
Cypher.
And EVOS allows it to happen. Cypher, bye-bye. Koja steals it.
Look at this, AJ. Look at where EVOS is at.
Look at where Indonesia is at the world stage, Husky.
This could be the final lap. We are so close to it. RRQ, they need to leave the compound now, but if Vitality moves now, he draws attention away. RRQ makes the move onto the southern side towards the EVOS. Vitality splits to the north. RRQ makes contact first. Rastia delivers 2 in a row. A bye. He needs to shut Rastia down. They caught, trapped in the same spot. Rastia finally gets knocked down. RRQ though, they need to finish the job, but it's not done just yet.
Vitality wants to play spoilers. Unbelievable. What we are seeing here at the Esports World Cup. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The heat is just
He
of a
overshoots.
different quality. Keeper overshoot. Down with the Bison. Kion gets the shot from afar. And now RRQ very low in probability. We still don't crown a champion here yet at Riyadh. Aim God, down you go. Vitality showing that they are a monster. Indonesia, you can rise. You are the best nation in Free Fire right now.
From the grave, Team Vitality wins it in map number 8 and puts themselves on the pedestal. All three Indonesian teams now have unlocked the condition of champion rush. Vitality were 3 points short off of Game 7 on Solara, their best map. They were stopped by RRQ, and now in Kalahari, they stopped RRQ on their best map. Write me a story better than this.
You cannot script this one, man. What a journey for Indonesia. And it will all come down to the randomizer once again.
Cannot-
Where do we go?
Vitality stopped the two teams that could have won it all.
But you know, this could just be the prayers of the millions of the Brazilian survivors, hoping and praying that it doesn't end, hoping and praying that lost still stands a chance to bring it back to Brazil. But holy hell, it's going to be hard up against three Indonesian squads who are right there with them with the champion rush condition map.
5 teams out of 12 that have a chance.
My God.
Who's to say that match 9 ends with another team that gets a booyah, but it's not one of those 5s, and then we get 6 teams for game 10, and we might still be staring down the barrel of the classic cumulative points before a team gets crowned champion.
For we never forget what we are watching here, the grand finals at AWC 25. It is amazing, but of course I know you guys are very curious to talk with the Evils right now. Let's have a word with God so we can understand what they are going through right now, because it must be really hard to be in the grand finals. Thanks so much for your time. So basically you guys had 3 chances. Right now your 4th chance to go and get a booyah and finish with this grand finals, but it's been really hard for you guys. I'm pretty much sure. Be honest, did the pressure hit you?
Jadi tentunya di sini kalian sudah punya 3 kesempatan untuk bisa mendapatkan booyah, dan kemungkinan besar ada juga di map keempat atau map ke-9 nanti ya. Tetapi ada masalah apa gitu untuk menutup map ini gitu, dan kalian tadi juga udah sampai di akhir tapi belum bisa menutup juga. Apakah ada pressure yang mengenai kalian?
Mungkin karena zonanya juga jauh, tadi match selanjutnya gitu sih.
Okay, I think not really about the pressure. It's just that we're a little bit unlucky about the zone and the map or on how we are positioning. So we're just gonna do better next time.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. Just change the mindset and come back for the game. But right now, we are watching a different game style from you guys. You start the day very aggressive, but you slow down a little bit. Do you think you have missed your shot because you have changed your game style?
Jadi kalau kita lihat dari waktu kalian main di awal itu mainnya sangat agresif gitu, tapi masuk ke dalam sekarang sudah ke championship rush point, kalian tiba-tiba terlihat sedikit lebih pasif atau lebih slow gitu. Apakah ini kesalahan dari permainan kalian atau menurut kalian gimana?
Enggak juga sih, mungkin apa ya? Ya kalau udah dapat zonanya emang santai aja lagi, gitu. Lebih santai.
I don't think so. I think we just that need to play according to our plan. And if we get the zone, we get the zone. We don't need to play aggressive anymore.
Okay, that's fair enough. I understand that. Yes, aggressive game for the start of the day, and right now just focus on the last zone. So good luck on their next matches. We have been watching great action, great performance come from Evils. And right now, guys, we have watched a lot of action come here to Esports World Cup 2025. But hold up a little bit. We are gonna go for a quicker break and we'll be right back with more Free Fire.
Dominating.
Itu atas woy.
Gas, kasih tower.
Sabar. Tower kasih ya. Kita boya woy.
Tower, weh. Dua lagi, sabar. Kita boya. Keong dulu.
Ini ngeperan woy.
Satu lagi.
Ini depan gua nih.
Pantai, woi.
What a Indonesian final we saw there on Kalahari. We did say it was a map that is extremely popular in the region, and they gave us an absolute masterclass in that final circle. And of our teams remaining, Team Vitality secure their booyah, and not only do they grab a booyah, but they unlock the win condition. We now have 5 teams who have unlocked the win condition for Champions Rush, and somehow, some way, we still haven't crowned a champion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is what Champion Rush condition is about. I mean, even if you are late in grabbing and accumulating those 80 points, there's still a chance. If you can deny everyone else of getting the booyah, then so be it. And that's what Team Vitality just did.
And they did it in such a exciting, scary way. Yunsul and I, backstage, we were screaming for a Game 9, and we got it. I cannot believe we're going into a Game 9, because not only is this crucial, because Kalahari is now officially out of the map pool, meaning that we have to pick a brand new map. And I have already been informed what this new map is, but I want my panelists to give me a guess. What map do you think we're going into next?
What's left? Give me Purgatory.
I would love to see like a matching Purgatory. So I want Purgatory too, but I'm not sure if it is.
You know what would make it difficult for everyone?
Don't say it.
If it was
Don't say
in
it.
Bermuda. Everyone knows this map. It will be troublesome for everyone. So, I sure hope it's Bermuda.
All right, I hope my viewers have their guesses as well. Put a map into your mind, and we're going to find out in just a second what that map is going to be. Have that map in your mind. Close your eyes. The map that we're going into next is Purgatory!
All right. Okay. Now, things are going to get really, really exciting here. A classic map, of course. All of the teams from Latam know how to play this map. All the teams from Southeast Asia know how to play this map. But at the end of the day, I mean, there has been teams that perform significantly better. And when I say significantly, I truly mean significant.
Well, one thing about this is the ones leading, the team that's leading this map is Lost. And they are also part of the teams that grab that Champion Rush condition. So, they might pull another Onyx on us.
That would be probably one of the most chaotic crownings I have ever heard. And I mean, if you're putting those numbers up, it means it's proven. This team has a track record. But does that mean all of a sudden they're probably going to be targeted by somebody? Because if you know you're playing a map and you know there's a team that is an absolute monster on that map, do you let them be a monster, or do you become the monster and you get rid of them first?
I think it depends on the situation, right? We saw that RRQ did the exact same thing on Kalahari against EVOS Divine. They literally walked up, knocked on their door and said, "Apa atas anjingku," and just went in. For translation, that means "What up, dog?" And they just gunned them down, giving Vitality that win. They knew they weren't able to close it out with a man disadvantage, but it was so important that they deny it from EVOS Divine.
Well, one thing though, it's easier if there's only a few teams that has that Champion Rush condition. But now that we have 5, I don't think they will be chasing on them that easily. Yeah, there's 5 chances that you might win or lose those gunfights.
Yeah, I think maybe it will be complicated for a team that it's trying to get the booyah. I don't know. I don't think that they will like to struggle with the situation of low. So I don't think they might try to fight against lows. I think everyone will try to do their games, so they need to be solid. It's really balanced. So I don't know if they will do it, but if they do, probably lows will struggle in the next match.
All right, we do have the overall rankings again on the screen. Now, there is still a chance we could push this to Game 10 because it's Game 9. We've still technically got one more round to go. There are a few teams left on the leaderboard that could still scrape by, but they've got to have a good round. Neptune, you've got the numbers. Who do you think, realistically, who hasn't hit 80 points yet, could possibly be the next team to scrape on by if we get another game?
Well, I'm looking at 4 teams. First is Dragon, who needs 12 points. We have Fluxo and Pain that needs 14 points, and we have Buddham United who needs 15 points. All those number of points, very achievable if, like, even if you don't get a Booyah, as long as you play it safe, get a decent amount of elimination as well as good placement points, they can activate it by the next round.
What are you talking about? They need to get the booyah. They need to deny the other 5 teams that champion point.
But I mean, if they got this point, like this in eliminations, it will be, such a, I don't know, I don't even know the right word to use. Talking about the final, yeah, amazing. Actually, that's the right word.
There's too many teams that need points. There seriously are too many teams, and I mean, the odds of getting to Game 10, I think it is relatively low. But, okay, Neptune, I have one more question for you, just because you do have stats to work with. Of the 4 teams that still need points, who is the most likely of them to get a booyah on Purgatory?
Let's see at the Booyah potential at this point, but I would say in Purgatory, the closest that we have right now is... Oh, actually, none of them.
None?
Oh, like from the past 4 maps that hasn't played in this, 4 games that has played in here. We have Lost, we have 2 from AGAL, and we have 1 from a core memory. So if we just base it on the number of points that they've grabbed, Pain would be the next in line.
Pain.
And they have been a pain, though.
They actually have been quite a pain to a lot of teams, especially the ones trying to get the booyah, because they seem to conveniently run into all of our win condition teams. So maybe Pain, they might be the reason why we go to a Game 10. We're going to have to find out, but thank you so much to my panelists. We're ready to jump into game number 9. It is Purgatory. Let's fly into the match with AJ and Husky.
Thank you very much to the panel. I'd say, we've come this far, we might as well go Game 10. It comes down to the teams. Out of 12 squads, 5 of them have a chance to lift the trophy by the end of Purgatory. You're here with me, Husky, and alongside the Masashio AJ, we have had quite a journey. We wanted 8 games. We talk about potential speed run. Let's toss that out the window. Let's enjoy some good free fire, and let's see if the teams can finally end it.
The panel talked about the 4 teams that could join the rest on this champion rush condition. But let us casters walk you through which one of these teams that have activated this champion rush condition is the closest to bringing our competition here to a close. Lost, the Brazilian squad, is the number 1 team at the very top with the most number of points picked up on Purgatory so far, which is ridiculous. They could just be the party poopers of Southeast Asia at this point of time. AGAL, you guys witnessed it in the Purgatory map that we just saw today. They grabbed the booyah. They've got the most number of booyahs here on Purgatory, which means the Thai teams, all of the Thai fans can smile wide. EVOS is right behind LOS, right behind Lost with those points. But the insane stuff is not a single booyah at Purgatory so far. So they all have to work against whatever sort of bad luck that has been holding them back so far and make this one happen. Because like what the panel discussed, we have got 4 teams who are not far away at all from activating this champion rush condition. And can you imagine a world where Buriram activates it and the next random map is Bermuda? GGWP.
Yeah, I mean, Lost have been the best team. AGAL got an earlier booyah on Purgatory, match 2. Something to look out for. If you look at the draw spot, EVOS smack dab in the middle. South of Brasilia, AGAL with a split. Brasilia and Fuse, core memory. Dragon Esports as always. Lowe's taking Ski Lodge. We got Buriram and Marble Works as always. RRQ and Fire Brigade, central control by Falcon, something that we expected. Vitality, not to be forgotten, taking Forge. I think for EVOS, once more, just like the previous 2 rounds, they put themselves in a risky position, but we've seen them get out of it time and time again.
Oh yeah. Vitality and Forge team. Then don't tell me Indonesia does this twice in a row, right?
Come on, man.
To be the last team that activates Champion Rush and then the following game a massive booyah and calls themselves champions.
I mean...
But either way, once again, Husky, what a year for the Free Fire fans in Indonesia.
So one thing I would say, at least it's not like Sea Spring. We have quality Indonesian teams, consistent, but display consistency and caliber. I think that's the most important thing, right? That's why they're in this spot. Early rotation from Dragon Esports onto EVOS. That could end the dream for EVOS on the map. Falcons against RQ. Yeah, dreams could also be smothered if RQ loses out on here. Karoro with the first blood and on the pan to the face. Abai is out.
The Wonder Kid of the RRQ squad down in the dumps very early on. Dude's going to be charged at RTS 50 in hand, but could not make use of a grenade. Instead will be pounced upon. These Falcons, you hear the cheers once again. They are trying to boost Falcons up from the 11th spot.
Remember, Hannah also brought up, we also brought up, Dragon Esports, they have a good chance to join the rankings. You underestimate
Never
them.
would I have ever thought.
They're 12 points away. Well, they have to. Unfortunately, get rid of EVOS.
Yeah.
Unless Core Memory helps them out, and Core Memory has just arrived in Brasilia. So far, Ray, that's not looking good.
You know, the one thing that's up against Dragon Esports is the fact that you need a booyah to win the championship.
Oh, yeah.
And they have not gotten anywhere
Oh, no!
to a booyah so far.
Russia, he just knocked himself with the grenade launcher. Not like this, EVOS!
Hey,
Of all
Dragon.
times!
Spoiler time. Core Memory appears out of nowhere.
That's a vending machine. Aim God, you can do this. Bring it back.
Wild Pokemon appears. God brings them back. Core Memory to save the chances of EVOS Esports. Unbelievable. Don, time turner. He pulled it out, but Aim God is the one that uses it. Strikes him. Unfortunately gets taken down by Kruger, who appears from the back. But the Wonder Kid has been brought back in. And he has a strong chance to loot up Central here and bring back the rest of his team members.
Just in time for Falcons to have rotated away because they fought RRQ early on. Russia once more called to action. And he accepts that duty, brings back Ray. EVOS gets another chance at life. And I could have sworn I saw the fear in their eyes, just like last year where they came so close only for this to happen at the worst possible moment. And Ras had knocked himself out with the grenade launcher. Yet he's here to save the team.
You gotta pull yourself together, Wonder Kid. Pain up against Buriram. A fight Buriram just cannot lose. But Pain Gaming feels the exact same way as well. Both of them so close to each other on the overall leaderboard. Looking for the activation of this champion rush condition. The winner just stands a better chance. No hope at all to stop the 5. Phenomenal Buriram. Out of the pan, into the fire. Firing range, set up by Fluxo. And they funnel them in, shut them down. Whether we get the championship or not, they will smile that they have managed to stop Buriram. But one final survivor on the side of Buriram, Captain Jonah, hits the revive before getting taken down.
It's the revive from Pain 2. Peter gets brought back very fast. Falcons encroaching onto EVOS' territory. Or more also, they return to their own territory. Ray will have to be sacrificed here for sure, but the rest of EVOS have been able to make it to Mount Villa. Ray, can he take at least one with them? The answer is no. Karoro rescued by his teammates. We saw the same exact rotation that EVOS made earlier on Purgatory. If Falcons pursue this, EVOS could meet an early end. But if Falcons decide that they just want to hold Southside because of where the circle is going, EVOS gets a second chance, but then R7 becomes their problem.
Can EVOS pull a Falcons on the competition? From the verge of being annihilated to making a full squad recovery and heading in for a booyah. Been done one too many times here at the Esports World Cup 2025. Might just see that once again as the final player on the side of EVOS gets revived. Ray will catch up with that action in a little bit. For now, the Dragons at the verge of extinction.
Falcons deciding against taking the zip line, but I think they are heading towards golf course. This is not going to be looking good for EVOS. Breaking taking out Remise. Dragons loses another member. The challenge for EVOS continues on the map. They have R7 to deal with at Quarry and then Marble Works, and then wow, Wasana roaming around. But with golf course taken control, Falcons, it puts loss at very good odds.
Unbelievable.
That derotation by EVOS, it might pay off if R7 runs into Falcons.
And obviously,
Look at this.
It's going to head on further and further up towards the northern part of Burgundy. And EVOS has got the right rotation here because the probability of it bringing up towards Crossroads and Marble Works is fairly high.
Oh no. I mean, oh, look at this. They have a good chance, but R7 has to go. Either that or Falcons. They're already starting a gunfight. Aim got playing on the flank. This is a risky move from EVOS. It can still backfire.
Let's see if or not EVOS manages to keep their heads down as they try to get out of here. I expected the engagement between Falcons and R7 to continue on a little bit longer as I say that, Games King. Eliminated from the run. That should have dragged in another Prey into play as well. EVOS, but we'll catch up with that action in a bit. For now, Thailand versus Thailand. Core Memory beating AGAL. One of the teams that have activated this champion rush condition. About to have the body ruined by their brothers.
It's going to be very tough. Density getting knocked down as well. Tinoy right through the defenses with the valiant dash. AGAL making sure that they cover all their bases. Now in the building, the base of Blue Walls all being knocked down. Jumping the crossfire. Twin getting knocked down by Cypher. The trade that's come through, but AGAL pulls it out from the hat. And they wipe out Core Memory. The run continues.
Oh my, that was way too close. Barros with the grenade launcher finally making it work for them. And unbelievable stuff here out of Core Memory Esports. After a phenomenal showing at Point Rush, I guess they used up a lot of the creative juice. All of their manifestations for the top was sent in for the wrong day, Husky.
That is not gonna be easy, right? I mean, Aimgod was revived. They sent him into the circle because they needed information. BRU could do the same, but they are late to the party, right? It's been so late. Wasana hasn't got a single revive yet because there was nothing left for him. But this is all for the marbles. EVOS knew they had to take this risk, but R7 is waiting for the interception, and there's nowhere to go but forward. In a 3v4 with minimal resources, 3 glue walls for Ray, no medkits. I say that he picks up some, but still minimal to work with.
R7, like you said, could just play spoiler for EVOS Esports. They're in prime position, but they will be tickled by Falcons as well. As you see on the northern side of your screen right now. Lost with a high ground advantage, has got no competition whatsoever to cross on into this next circle.
Oh my goodness, EVOS, that rotation. If we look at the radar, they just made one of the best rotations ever. Dodged a big bullet. Falcons takes on R7 off screen. Look at that, EVOS. Can you believe it?
Miracle right there. Being able to call such a rotation, Husky, is just incredible. They've got the jump pad as well.
Oh my goodness.
And Aimgod gives the info that is all wide and clear, brothers.
This is recovery. They have completely recovered from the poor start that they have, and supply drop waiting for them.
To unlock it, Aimgod has been sitting here for quite a while already. Goes in for the full unlock. He gets it. With this ad drop, EVOS is right back in it.
This whole grand final has been about second chances. and EVOS keeps getting it.
This is like what, fourth chance?
This fourth chance, right? But it doesn't sound as good.
No.
I mean, here, nothing is granted,
As
everything is
long as
earned.
they can wrap it up as the champions, it doesn't matter how it sounds.
They've earned it for sure.
Yeah, but it's getting tougher and tougher, and this is one of those teams that have a high chance of walking away with the Booyah at Purgatory. Problem is, the previous Booyah's loss has grabbed on Purgatory. They have been very aggressive. Now, this is the passive version, which I'm not too fond of.
Vitality just spot the loss out. EVOS needs to continue this rotation, but Buriram right on the horizon. Buriram is a bit more ill-equipped compared to EVOS.
Yep.
If they get to Buriram right now, they get another shot at the championship, and Buriram knows this. Right around the corner, here we go, Ray! Missing it, get high with P90, drops Ray, and that is not what you want if you're EVOS. They block out BRU, but Rastia, he needs to take this fight. He's forced to engage. Kochu and Imbot trying to respond, but Moshi wins that one out. And EVOS falling apart.
Kochil has got the grenade launching here. Deadly weapon! And with the tag team of Raskia, 2 players down on the ground. Kochil needs to go for the continuous shutdown. And Raskia will give the backup that his brothers terribly need. And the big brothers will smile as their kid, straight off the block, the Wonder Kid himself makes a huge play.
Raskia! Again!
And the Wonder Kid continues to deliver.
And he bails out the team as they take the launch pad deeper into the safe zone, away from the blue. Wasana left reeling once more, and this time in an even worse spot. But the next contender arrives. Dragon Esports in front of EVOS, and Dragons is so close to 80 points.
Oh yeah. Unbelievable, Saudi Arabia. Unbelievable. Out of the EMEA region, Dragon Esports
তোমাদের ভিডিওটা কেমন লাগছে
with just pure survival gameplay. They've lived out here in the deserts long enough. They know their way around.
There's no more vending machines, and that's what's gonna sting for EVOS. They will play with 3 members for the rest of the round.
For Buriram.
And Buriram gets eliminated. No champion rush for them, sadly. Just not enough points. Loss against Vitality. At least one of them will fall short at the end of this loss. Will take offense. Vitality holding in the building across them. And Loss clearing out the compound. Nando Nai started off. Kyung gets knocked down, but no confirmation yet. The glue was just enough. FGL through the glue wall. Riptide with the committed. Interception. And Vitality keeps on holding.
Wonderful nade into trailer once again. Vitality pops the Steffi. That bit too late. But that will slow Loss down a tad bit. Nando 9. Riptide rhythm to the back as AGAL now comes in as the next contender. Looking to make Loss as the break. Valiant dash by Rigby. Has 590. And Rahone with the backup. Loss making quick work of the Thai squad.
And Rigby resets his Tatsuya cooldown from that knock. We talk about the nerf. People go for Oscar, but in times of need, that Rebel Rush could make the difference. And AGAL left with Cypher, left to pick up the pieces, and he falls apart. Law keeps that run running. But for AGAL, this could be it. There might not be another chance. EVOS is out too.
Vitality smiling at this point of time. So much of resources used up here by Loss just to fight AGL off. And now, look at Rahone move on in together with Rigby and 519 in their hands. They want a big fight, but A124 bombed as well. And Vitality has no way out. It's a firing squad. General down on the ground. Is this worth it for Loss? They have no choice. And they make it out of there with the skin of the teeth. General. Riptide rhythm. Rahone, down you go as well. Dragons of all teams are saving it for Southeast Asia as they take those big shots up against the Brazilian squad.
Only Pain and Dragon Esports. Actually, Pain, Dragon, and Falcons can stop the trophy from being lifted. Wow. They gotta stop RRQ. They have to stop Loss. And if we've lost out, it's only RRQ left. We might go to a game 10. It might come down to the wire.
Unless RRQ pulls off a miracle run here.
It's the final circle.
Positioning with the back end where it's all clear.
But Lady Luck not on their side.
Oh my
Pulling away the
goodness.
circle. Dragons esports down. And now the circle with Falcons who are on fire literally. Mina finding Kiba. Big knockdown coming on through. Dudes with the Groza Maal looking for that snipe, and the glue wall melters taking down their defenses. M590 courtesy of Maal. But Pina strikes once again. The sniper went in too early.
And Limit finds another knock. I think it has happened. Falcons stop the end game. 20 eliminations. You wanted a miracle, and Team Falcons delivered it at the 11th hour in front of a home crowd. 32 points. And Falcons now joins the ranks of teams who can take it all home and get that two-peat in front of a Saudi crowd in their nest.
From nowhere close to now, one round away from being your back-to-back Free Fire Esports World Cup champions, Falcons. Unbelievable run. And what is more unbelievable is that on this world stage, 5 teams had activated the champion rush condition, and none of them could bring it to an end.
The script keeps getting better. It was Falcons who stopped an Indonesian team. They did it last year against EVOS. Now they did it against RRQ. You see how shattered Ma'au must have felt. They had the win. It was a 4v3. And guess who pulled through? Pina. Once more. One of the latest additions for Team Falcons to send them into match point. Incredible. 6 teams, half the squads, half the grand finalists can take it all home, and still we don't know if we will be looking at a Booyah win or accumulated point. Is this where it ends for Indonesia when they've come so close, not just with one team like EVOS last year, but with all 3 representatives?
My question is, did Dragons get the 12 points?
I don't know. They got 15!
Dragons got 15. Dragons is in the champion rush condition as well. We're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, match number 10 out of possible 10. Yeah, the Esports World Cup of Free Fire.
Triple kill. Quadra kill.
Reach your impossible. Lenovo Legion.
করছে
খেলা শেষ হইতে এটা এখন ঠিক বলতেছে কোন টিমটাই করে না খেলা শেষ হইতে এটা লেখছে একজন আরে অবস্থা
তুমি নিজে তো সুন্দর তোমার
ও এটা তো লাভ নাই এটা তো পয়েন্ট এটা তো চ্যাম্পিয়ন হতে পারবে না এটা চ্যাম্পিয়ন হতে পারবে না থার্ড ফোল্ড হতে পারবে না তাই না এটাতে পয়েন্ট আসে অ্যাক্টিভ হবে না
This is the grand final that keeps on giving, and we have made it to game number
হ্যাঁ
10. This is the match to decide who will be our
লাস্ট গেম গাইস, এটা লাস্ট গেম গাইস, মনে রাখো এইটা লাস্ট গেম। এই ম্যাচে যে টিম বুয়া পাবে, চ্যাম্পিয়নরা যাদের অ্যাক্টিভ হয়েছে ওরা যদি বুয়া পায়, ওদের পয়েন্ট যতই কম থাকুক না কেন ওরা চ্যাম্পিয়ন। আর যদি বুয়া নাও পায়, পয়েন্ট টেবিলে যারা উপরে থাকবে তারা চ্যাম্পিয়ন। মানে এটা লাস্ট গেম।
Then the team with the most points will be crowned champion. It's a tense moment here on the panel because we honestly do not know what to expect for this final map. We thought we knew what the results are going to be for that map, but look at the leaderboard. I'm seeing Gideon, his jaw is on the ground. Neptune's still trying to get his Formula 1 because it's broken up with that last round. But Gideon, walk us through what is updated with the match rankings.
Okay, so first of all, with Team Falcons getting 32 points and as well as Dragon Esports getting 15, Dragon Esports should qualify
আমি
for their
এই
championship.
টুর্নামেন্টটা দেখে
For Team Falcons, I would assume straight away that they've also qualified for it, which would mean that half the
মোবাইলে
lobby
টিভি ভাব
is
পিসিতে
already
যেখানে গিয়ে না কেন
qualified.
But based on previous calculation, they needed 38 points.
অ্যাবসলিউট সিনেমা।
No!
ঠিক আছে গাইস, অ্যাবসলিউট সিনেমা।
Okay, we need a total ranking update. I think that's what everyone wants to see right now.
এই যে দেখো, এই যে ম্যাপ ইয়া
Who is
করতেছে,
in
দেখছো?
the
এক্সপ্লেন করে
running
দিতেছে।
to
ওয়াও।
win via a booyah,
Totally
and
absolute
who
cinema,
is
guys.
in the running to potentially win with points, right? Like that is what we want to know right now. We need to know what is the threshold that everyone is aiming for when it comes to points. And obviously,
You will
the
say point
teams
again.
are still talking. Here is the overall ranking.
ছয়টা টিম, এই যে এই যাও টিআরজিও ঢুকছে। মেইন গেমের 1 পয়েন্টের জন্য ভাই, আরে ছি।
By 1 point, Team Falcons
Spain
missed out by
পয়েন্টের জন্য
6
পারে না,
points,
জি।
which means
কষ্ট
unfortunately,
মানে এই ম্যাচটা যদি 1 পয়েন্ট মানে 80 যদি হইতো তাহলে
dude, they
জিতলে বুয়া
decided
চান্স।
at the very end because even
ছি
esports
ছি
are
ছি,
leagues
1 পয়েন্টের জন্য গাইস স্পেন।
and 50. So even if they go
তো দেখো এই 6টা টিমের মধ্যে যদি কোনো টিম বুয়া পায় ও চ্যাম্পিয়ন ও থাকুক না কেন,
And that's
বুঝতে
the
পারছো?
reason why they didn't slow down.
এটা হলো এখন। আর যদি 6টা টিমের মধ্যে কেউ বুয়া না পায় এরা,
They can just
বাট পয়েন্ট টেবিলে যারা আগে থাকবে মানে ইভো চ্যাম্পিয়ন হয়ে যাবে,
wait
প্রিটি
for the
শিওর।
zone and just surprise
What's that,
everyone else and grab the booyah, similar to what we've seen in Southeast Asia. But no, they want to make sure that even if it goes to the distance,
আমি
they're
চাই
still
এখন
number
আর
one.
7 বুয়া নাই
I think the most important question we need to answer is what is everyone working with for this final map? Because again, we're running with a
Absolute cinema,
random system.
Mima Sana,
We don't
totally,
know what
guys,
that map is
absolute
going to
cinema,
be, and the
Mima.
players only find out when it's time to play. And I have been updated with information. I know what the last map is. I hope you guys are ready for this because I think it's a great way to end the tournament with a bang. We are going back to Bermuda for game number 10.
I
Back
knew
to where it all began.
I'm in the scriptwriter's head. It's already. I can foreshadow it. I can see it. There's a reason why this game is starting to look like a work of art. 10 maps already played, and that's why I've got the Van Gogh socks right here. It's a starry night, baby.
Anyways, I mean, this map, I did mention it earlier. I might have been wrong in terms of prediction, but it's
Guys,
still
সবাই
it's
simple
the same.
করে like করে
It
দাও,
really
আর
feels like
subscribe
everyone
করে
knows
দাও।
this, and this is where everything really matters. It's
ভালো,
either someone from the
shit.
group who hasn't reached the champion or who didn't.
আমার ফোনে আমি 100% চার্জ নিয়ে আসলাম
No
কমেন্ট
one
পড়াটা
has
যেটা, ঠিক আছে?
Evo's
13% হয়ে গেছে গাইস।
I don't know what to say. I mean, is there anything to predict? Is there anything that we can foreshadow? I don't think we can. It's just a mixed bag. It's down to the teams, where they land, who they target, who decides to be the bigger man,
Guys,
and
ভাবতেছি।
potentially hold off any threatening teams.
বলবো?
হ্যাঁ এটাই ভালো হবে। আর কেউ কি না আর কেউ কি সাপোর্ট করতে বলতেছে আপনাকে?
না আমি ইভোসকে ভালোবাসতেছি আর আমি ইভোসকে সাপোর্ট করব।
Well, at this
জি ভাই
just quickly.
ইভোস ইজ দ্য বেস্ট টিম গাইস, ঠিক আছে? কেন আমি সাপোর্ট করব না? আমাদের বেস্ট ফিমেল গেমার যারা গেমিং ইভোসকে সাপোর্ট করতেছে, ঠিক আছে? এজন্য তো আমাদের উচিত আমাদের ইভোসকে সাপোর্ট করা।
Team Falcons.
না প্লিজ আপনি সাপোর্ট করিয়েন না।
Ooh, all of which have a
Team
hit
match.
point.
So who's the Eagles? Who's the next down then?
ফ্যালকন বি লাইক হাম নেই জিতেंगे किसी को नहीं जीतने देंगे, ঠিক আছে? এতগুলা ম্যাচে পিটানি খাইতে 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 8টা ম্যাচে পিটানি খাইলো, কালকে 6টা ম্যাচে 814টা ম্যাচে পিটানি খায় ফ্যালকন বি লাইক না এই ম্যাচে
আর
দিয়ে দিব আমরা।
আর কিউ লাইফ আর জ্যাবি লাইফ সেম
Hovered right now, only didn't damage her teammate.
আর কিউ জ্যাবি সেম
And I guess they were
দুইবার
right
তাই না দুইবার সেকেন্ড থেকে সেকেন্ড হয়ে গেল
সব এবার ওরা আমার সব
I trust the
আর
coach to be
সেম জ্যাবিরা যে সিচুয়েশন ফেস করছে আর কিউরা সেম সিচুয়েশন
We are done here. We are ready to fly back to Bermuda, where it all began for
হ্যাঁ লাস্ট গেম গাইস লাস্ট গেম
10. Husky and AJ take it
Let's go.
away.
Panelists, you
আজকে ভাবলাম যে ফাইনাল তাড়াতাড়ি ম্যাচটা বের করে আমি কি টুর্নামেন্ট খেলতে যাবো আমার টুর্নামেন্ট খেলা বের করে দিল জানি না ফিরবে
কেন কি বল দে লাগ এই ম্যাচটাই বল দে লাগ
ইয়েস ইভো জিতবে যাবে ডোন্ট ওয়ারি অ্যাবাউট দ্যাট
and holy hell,
আমি চাই আপনার ফেল করা আরেকটা বুয়া নেই
we are having a good
না না আমি চাই ইউসি বুয়ানি ফ্যালকন দরকার নাই ফ্যালকন বাদ পড়ে যাক ফ্যালকন সাপোর্ট করি না আমি এখন
না ইভোস
আমার
বুয়া
মোট
লাগে
সুইং এ গেছে ফ্যালকন থেকে
but so many of them have activated it. And Saudi Arabia's very own Dragon with a miracle rush. They have activated the champion rush condition. Indonesia is up down at 3 squads, looking for the
ওদের ফোনের অবস্থা কেমন ভাবো গরম হয়
representation for Brazil. And on
Eh?
the desk once again, you've got the Mustachio and Husky. Let's kick it, brother.
I'm not gonna lie, when Falcons made that booyah, it made me believe for a fraction of a moment. But I gotta correct myself, they have no chance, but it does not mean that they
Last
cannot
match
take
কোন
away
map-এ?
the chances.
ইয়া ম্যাপ হবে মনে হয় বারমুডা ম্যাপে
না ওরা তো লটারি করবে
না না ওই যে ম্যাপ কোচ যখন ডিসকাস করতেছিল তখন বারমুডা ম্যাপ বের করে ডিসকাস করতেছিল হয়তো বারমুডাই হবে ওই যে একটা টিমের ইন্টারভিউ দেখলাম না বারমুডা ম্যাপ বের করে ইয়া করতেছে হয়তো শিওর না ওটা যদি আগের রেকর্ড হয়ে থাকে তাহলে অন্য ম্যাপ হতে পারে
In terms of top performers on Bermuda, but guess what? The top 3 teams are all teams that have no chance of winning. They could work in the favor of Evo.
জিএফ মেসেজ দিচ্ছে কি করব জিএফ কে নিয়ে এসে বিয়ে করে একসাথে লাইভ স্ট্রিম দেখো
They do it with their own hands, or they pray
Guys.
that the teams who are good on Bermuda
লাইতে টিভিকে চোখে দশটা দেখতেছি লিমন ভাই বেচারা
Boss needs to do is not worry too much about the booyah, but stack those points like their lives depend on it, because their lives do depend on it. If one Mahal can still turn that frown upside down. The best sniper out of Indonesia at one point of time used to be the guy. But the Wonder Kid obviously stepping it up, showing his big brother exactly how it's done out there. This is the kind of grand finals nobody could have imagined. Champion Rush delivering every single intense action possible out there. And I am all for it. Husky, what a day, man.
we have grown so much since the Corinthians lifted the trophy back in Rio almost 7 years ago. And since then, every single trophy lift has been a lot more intense, a lot more closer. And every single grand finals, it somehow keeps on getting better. I don't know how these teams do it. I don't know if it's because of the meta or the new format, but the fact that it keeps on getting better and closer, the odds keeps getting higher, is what makes this so sweet, so precious at the end of the day. I think for RRQ, again, there's a chance to wipe those tears off.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Same for EVOS, they've come this far, and now this is truly the final stop. There's no more do-overs. EVOS, they had 5 chances. That's 4 more chances compared to last year. It could not have gotten any closer than this.
The MVP of the FFWS Global Finals. Big smile.